So we got our first look at Victor Wembanyama and Chet Holmgren. The crazy thing about this is this. We talked about this over the summer.
Right.
Now people are starting to realize that this could end up being this big rivalry. And again, it's just a preseason. I don't want to overreact. But if you watch this game, you can legit feel like, oh, bro, this is about to be something special, like between these two. Like that first half, especially the plays they were making. And they even had these sequences where they were like responding to each other, like, you know, Victor go get a bucket on one end.
I like it.
Yeah, go get one. Then they flexed on each other a couple times, like that. Like it's a preseason game, but you can legit get that vibe, like, oh, this could end up being something like down the road, like 2 7-foot+ guys who have like this unlimited skill set and the super high ceiling. Like Victor made us forget about how great Chet could end up being. Like, you know what I'm saying?
That's the crazy thing. And if you just look at the numbers, even though they both play really well, like I don't think you can ask for too much out of what their debut was. But I think Chet like had 21 points, like almost double-digit rebounds if he did, and he shot 100% from the 3-point line. Like I don't know what else you can ask from
all
players
in the
like
first half.
That's cold. Yeah, all in the first half. So
yeah. Like majority, like everything we saw from them is in the first half. And again, it's the preseason. I don't want to overreact, but if you're seeing like the preseason is about seeing flashes, right? It's not about psychoanalyzing every little thing, but the flashes you saw from those guys, it was like, bro, this gonna end up being something. And like I was saying, I don't think when Wemby got drafted, my first thought was, damn, he gonna have to, match up against Chet. And I don't think people really realized like early on with the Wemby hype that him and Chet could end up being this super interesting matchup because players of their type is very rare, but now that we saw it today, and then there was some hype coming into this game, people are realizing that this could end up being like this, a super matchup down the road, and even a rivalry week, they're matching up with each other. You know what I'm saying? So it was really dope to see that. It was dope to see the variation of skills too. Like they both look really smooth. Victor's jumper looked extremely smooth. Like he had a couple off the dribble, off the catch. Chet too, but Chet's ability to attack the rim at his size, he had a couple of, he didn't finish them, but he had a couple good spin moves and shit. Like it was dope to see.
Yeah, I saw Chet have like an acrobatic like finish layup on the right wing.
Yeah,
he kind of like his the ball, like he threw the ball not behind his head, but it was kind of acrobatic finish over his right shoulder.
Yeah,
I'm like damn, Chet. I don't like Gonzaga players, but I'm not gonna lie, that was nice.
Those are 7 foot. Like it's you're not going to see games where 2 7-foot+ guys are going to be able to. Maybe with like Kevin Durant and Giannis, and that's it. Right. Like you're rarely going to see 2 guys in the same game be able to make plays like we saw. Like responding to each other the way they did. There was a sequence where I think Victor goes and gets this dunk, and then Chet comes right back and then gets that right-handed finish. Through contact and everything. Like you're rarely going to see something like this with 2 7-foot+ guys. Who traditionally be big men in any other setting, play well like this. It was really dope to see. And even the defense too. Like there was a play where with Victor where he got beat off the dribble by Jalen Williams, and they had him guarding Jalen Williams, who's one of their best offensive players. He got beat off the dribble and still ends up with a block shot. Like he got clearly crossed up, beat off the dribble, and still blocks a shot. Like
yeah, that's not even what I'm talking about. The play where he had help side defense, and somehow with his long ass arms, I felt like he was on the 3-point line. He reached damn near at the free throw, and he stole the ball, and then got a breakaway dunk because he tipped it, and his teammate just threw it to him, and he got a breakaway dunk. I'm like, ain't no way a player should be at the 3-point line and be not even moving his feet from the 3-point line to still be able to steal it from the free throw. Like the wingspan is crazy.
He had a few steals today too. Like we always talk about the block shots, but he like to see big men get steals like that is dope. And what I like about San Antonio is what I'm noticing, because you always wonder how teams are going to use guys like him. It looks like they're really going to emphasize having him like run out and transition. Like there were a lot of times where it was like off a rebound, Victor's going to kind of cherry pick down the court and then just throw the ball ahead and then let him finish. Like we saw them do that a few times. So it's interesting seeing how Popovich is going to use them. They're going to let him attack from the 3-point line in. They're going to bring him off the screens and everything to try to get him 3-point looks, or he can just get a catch on the wing and just shoot over people. Cause I saw him do that a few times where it's like he just gets a catch. Maybe first couple of options aren't there and he's just going to pull it. But it was impressive seeing what he can do. And like I said, what Chet can do. I said this before and I mentioned it a couple minutes ago, but Wemby comes in with this hype and then we forget that we just had another 7-foot unicorn to draft before. Like that happens a lot. But it's like, yo, we can't forget that they're like this guy's also here. So that's one thing I like about this is back-to-back years, we've gotten these like potential, future transcendent level players, in back-to-back drafts, and we can see them go head-to-head like this.
I honestly think it was so easy because Chet missed his rookie year, like his true rookie year. Like he just missed that. So people was like kind of forgot about him. But just say if he did play his rookie and he averaged like 15, maybe 15 and near 10, I feel like it'll be more a discussion of Chet versus Victor. But I think now that's the crazy thing. Like since he missed his real rookie year, this is going to be his rookie year, even though I don't know how I feel about players. I guess he didn't play, but I just don't know how I feel about this. Is his second year in the league. He just didn't play his first year, but they're both going to be fighting out for rookie of the year, which I can't wait for.
Yeah, they will. And then why? And and Wemby, we'll see how things move with him, because obviously you're not worried about anything from a basketball perspective. You're worried about the physicality, and I think I'm less worried about how the physicality is going to impact Chet compared to Wemby. Like, Chet's skinny, but he's very he can bang low key. Like he had a couple of plays, like I mentioned, he had 2 really strong takes to the rim where he drew fouls, and that's something I don't think Wemby has right now. Is he's not going to put the ball on the floor and attack. And I saw Chet do that a few times. But I trust Wemby's ability to adjust to the physicality a little bit more. And also Chet's ability to adjust to the physicality a little bit more. And I also think OKC is going to be a better team than San Antonio. So if I'm making early predictions, I'd edge Chet. But I think Wemby is going to make it very tough because his offensive output is going to be crazy. Like the way Wemby's looking, the way San Antonio's looking like they're going to run offense through him, he's definitely going to be 20 plus his first year. Again, early. But just from what we saw in this short amount of time today, in like 3 quarters, you can see like they're going to run a lot to him to get him those opportunities.
And for Pop, that's a different style of coaching. Like he's not used to like giving rookies. I know he barely sometimes gave Tim and Tony Parker like as much freedom as they probably deserve, probably sometimes, just because of the flow of the offense and the system he had. Didn't really predicate on one person scoring or whatever the case may be. But for Wemby to even get those opportunities like it looks like he's going to get, it probably means Pop is kind of changing around the way he coaches, because as the game changes, the coaching has to change it. So it's probably good for Wemby to experience that.
No, it is for real. This is going to be dope to see. And with Chet, we'll also see, because we're talking about how his rookie year is going to go. We'll also see how everything kind of plays out, because there was obviously no SGA today, and there wasn't a lick of defense being played. OKC had like 80 points at half. But like I said, preseason is about the flashes, and like they were still out there hooping. Like whenever people do things like, oh, it's just the preseason, X, Y, and Z, guys were still out there hooping. You know what I mean? And then I got to see those guys, play defense on one another. I got to see players try to guard them, and they both responded and did their thing. So seeing that is dope, and I think it's an introduction to what could end up being one of the best matchups, one-on-one matchups in the NBA over the next couple of years. Hopefully, if they stay healthy, because that's all it's going to come down to. Because I don't doubt these guys' talent at all. I don't think these guys are going to have trouble from a basketball perspective.
It was funny seeing them after every time they score and they flex. I'm kind of laughing. I'm like y'all little skinny. I'm like y'all little skinny ass. But it's no shade. But I just want to ask you this: like, who do you think? Because you said Chet, you think he's going to be the more probably stronger player, especially when he goes down low. Like, do you honestly think like who do you if you had to just kind of predict who's going to be the stronger player just moving forward in their career? Who do you think is going to be the more stronger player? Because both of them are kind of skinny, and that's probably the thing people are most worried about with them.
That's a tough question. I don't know who. I don't know who's going to be I don't think any of their game is going to.
Yeah,
I think,
and I say that, and I don't want to cut you off, but I say that because when you go to the hoop, you got to develop some type of strength because people just knock you.
And teams are going to find a defensive scheme to try to at least get Victor off the 3-point line a little bit, and they're going to have, and they're going to try to make him like play a little bit, like bang it down low at least. Like there were a couple of times where they were trying to make him play a little bit in the mid range off the post up or off his back to the basket and things like that. I think Chet right now, has that advantage, and again, it's not a major advantage because he's still skinny, but relatively. But that's a tough question. That's a tough question to answer right now. But I think Chet's going to have a less of an issue to worry about. The physicality and everything, or getting the ball, on the floor and attacking and everything like that, because I think also he's had time to develop his body a little bit more. Like we can't forget, he did put on a lot of weight this offseason, so right now I say Chet, but I think Wemby's gonna adjust, as he, moves further, because things with Wemby, a lot of things happen like super fast pace. He hasn't really had the time to hone in on his body and everything. Like that's one thing about him that we don't really like think about.
Yeah. But then again, that question I asked you might be flawed because their game probably, especially with Victor, does he really need to be that strong to do that? Because he's so much taller than everybody else. He can literally just shoot over the top of them. So
Yeah.
it might not even be as much of an issue that I'm trying to make it, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think it could be at some point because, like I said, let's look at Jason Tatum for an example, right? Jason Tatum had to figure out how to attack the rim with aggression. Like that's going to be a limitation. Like a lot of times we think about the biggest limitation, he can't shoot, and that's your biggest limitation. Also, if you can't put the ball on the floor and attack, that's one less thing a defense has to worry about. So Victor at some point is going to have to figure out. And again, it's early. We didn't really have to see him in that many situations, but Victor's got to figure out how to do that. What Chet just did, swing, get a move down low, play physical, try to draw a foul. That's just another aspect of the game he's got to unlock. It's similar to Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum had to unlock that part of his game, which was getting the ball downhill. We know you can do all this stuff outside on the three-point line and all of that, but you got to be able to get the ball downhill and make a play and try to get on the free throw line. That's something a lot of guys have to get. And I think right now Chet's got that more relative to Wemby, but we'll see over time because Wemby, we didn't see him in that many situations where he had to do that. And he did once, there's this play. We turned it over here, but there was another play on the right wing where he attacked and went straight at Chet and got an and one on him, so we'll see. But right now I think I trust Chet with that a little bit more because Chet did put on some muscle in the offseason that's much needed. And Wemby's got a lot more to work on from a physicality standpoint. He hasn't had the time to focus on that. So
right, yeah. They'll figure it out. I feel like that's the most thing that issue. I mean, that the rookies have to attack. That's the most issue that they have to attack is just getting stronger and be able to, go off the dribble because the game is just more than just shooting jumpers. Most likely. So that's the point you brought up with Jason Tatum that he was struggling with his first few seasons and he seems to figure it out. So they'll figure it out. It might take a couple seasons though, but
I think what we saw, like I said, I don't think I got this hype off a preseason game before. I really don't, just because, like I said, their skill set, what you wanted to see from them is what you got, right? You got to see them go at each other. You did get to see them have those back and forth moments, and offensively they played well within the team concept and the team system. Again, I know it's early, but you couldn't have asked for a better debut performance from both of those guys, and again, that's not the season opener and everything, and we'll see how things go once we move towards that. But if you want a preseason game and you want to get this matchup and that this is exactly what you wanted to see, because usually you see these top picks and they may be a little spotty early, right? No, you saw everything you wanted to see from Victor in game one, everything you wanted to see from Chet in game one. Hopefully they can keep it up. But this was that was dope as hell to see them go back and forth at it like that, and I think both of them have a chance to, like you said, win that Rookie of the Year award and put up big time numbers in their first season.
Might be a co-Rookie of the Year. I'll be honest, it might become that. I can't remember the last time we had a co-anything award. It's happened before in NBA history, but I can't remember the last time Rookie of the Year. It's definitely happened though.
We had Kidd and Grant Hill, and I don't know if it's happened. I feel like it may have happened since. There may have been one more since then. I could be completely wrong. Here's also why I think Chet could end up edging him is, does Victor play as much as Chet? There's also that question because, there was that rumor that San Antonio was going to load manage him in year one. So there's that question, so there is that, the availability and the court time. Wemby may put up better numbers than Chet this year. I think Wemby's going to end up probably being 20. But if Chet goes 18, 17 a game and 8, 9 rebounds, which he'll probably get 10 rebounds actually because he's not really competing with anybody on the boards right now, and they're a good team, he'll win it. You know what I'm saying? So it may be a situation where Wemby's individual stats are better, but Chet's more available. Individual stats are, a little less, not as good as Wemby's, but they're still impressive. And they actually win. I think that's why I think Chet will probably edge him out. So
they might make it to the play-in, maybe the playoffs.
Because they're a good team. They're legitimately good team.
But you were right. It was Jason Kidd and Grant Hill that were the last co-Rookie of the Year or whatever. But yeah,